I like podcast charts, but I also have a hot take about podcast charts. They're vanity metrics. Here's another hot take. You should still try and be on them. Because being able to say top 5% is like walking into a room in a tailored suit. It doesn't do the work for you, but it buys you a few extra seconds of attention. What you do with those seconds is what actually matters. Most of the top whatever percent stats floating around come from download distribution data. The rough math? It's marketing math, really. If your new episode gets a little over 1,000 downloads in the first 7 days, you're playing in that, quote, top 5% of shows worldwide bracket. Top 10% is closer to 450 to 500 downloads in that same window. That sounds huge. Top 5% globally. Feels like you should be cashing checks and dodging paparazzi at Whole Foods, right? Wrong. Here's your reality check. It still might be a tiny show in human terms. It just means that most podcasts are really, 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 really small and die fast. But here's where charts do matter. We got to give them their flowers for a second, all right? They can signal quality and momentum. Seeing a show ranking in a category or rocking a, quote, top 5% badge tells potential listeners this isn't some abandoned side project. It's social proof. People are actually listening. What it also does is make cold outreach easier. When you pitch a guest, a partner, or a sponsor, you can say, we're a top-ranked show in whatever category. It's going to open doors. It just does. It's a branding thing. It's psychology. It gives nervous marketers and risk-averse CMOs something concrete to cling to while they decide if you're legit. What they also do is boost algorithmic discovery. Apple, Spotify, the third-party charts, they all use some stew of downloads, follows, and recent growth. If you spike, you get surfaced to more strangers. That's extra oxygen. So, yeah, charts are vanity, but they're elevated vanity. They're a nice trophy to hang in the lobby. Now, where they become a trap, and here it is. This is going to probably be a little hard for you to listen to. You start making decisions for the algorithm instead of the listener. You're chasing hot takes and celebrity guests because they'll spike downloads, even if those episodes don't help your actual audience. You confuse popularity with profitability. Don't forget, popularity, that's for high school kids who don't have anything to show for themselves. A show sitting in the top 50 of a category can have zero trackable revenue, while a niche podcast outside the charts, by a long shot, quietly closes 6 figures in services because it speaks to 300 perfect people. You let the badge become your personality. That's another one. You don't want to fall into that trap. Top 5% podcast goes in your bio, your email signature, your LinkedIn headline, but there's no follow through, no offer, no pipeline, no system, just vibes and status. For B2B especially, there's almost no correlation between chart positions and revenue. What moves money is the right listeners, the right relationships, the right follow-up. Charts do not and cannot measure any of that. So, how do you treat charts like the nice to have they are? Aim for them as a byproduct, not the mission. Your main goal, build a show that moves people into your world. Your email list, DMs, discovery calls, clients. If you hit a chart along the way, cool. Screenshot it, celebrate it, then get back to work. I'll give you a little bit of an anecdote. When I was back in my previous radio career, twice we won the Marconi Award. It's a huge award in the industry. And when it was announced that my station won, it was like, okay, cool. We announced it on Facebook and on Instagram. And the next day, it was just another day. It didn't really feel like much. And that's knowing that that this award is a big damn deal in the business. But there's still work to be done. And that's the same mindset that you should have whenever you just so happen to pop up onto a chart. Now, what you got to do is use them strategically in your intros. We're going to use what you can also do with those chart. What you could also do with those What you could also do with that chart position is use it strategically in your intros. Not every one, but let's say for your mic, it's a top ranked show in whatever category. You buy yourself some extra credibility in as little as 3 seconds. You can use it in pitches. Hey, we've hit top 5% globally by downloads, and more importantly, our last season generated X client conversations. You pair your vanity with actual substance. What you also want to do is balance your dashboard. On one side, downloads, followers, and rankings. On the other, email opt-ins from the show. Sales calls that started with, I heard you on ... And then revenue, where the podcast clearly played a role. If the left side is skyrocketing and the right side is empty, you don't have a podcast problem. You've got a conversion problem. That's because charts are like abs. Cool to have, fun to show off, but if your heart and your lungs are trash, you're still going to gas out when you walk up the stairs. So, sure, chase that top 5% flex. Let it open doors, earn you a little envy, make your dad proud. Just do not confuse the trophy with the job. If you want help building the other side of your dashboard, grab the Speke Podcasting Roadmap. I'll send it over to you. Shoot me a message, Freddie with a Y at spekepodcasting.com. Thanks for listening.